Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about Mercury sextile or trine to Jupiter in synastry. So these aspects are super underrated. They are feel good aspects. They're aspects that bring out positive thinking in both people. There can be a real ease and lightness in communication, but also with learning. It's like the conversations that we're having are not superficial with these aspects. So, the Mercury person really feels like the Jupiter person is like a guru or someone who's either traveled the world or is like wise, kind of like a teacher type figure. And the Mercury person can really feel their mind opening and expanding in the presence of the Jupiter person. And it's in such a way that the Mercury person is really open to the Jupiter person's wisdom. And the Jupiter person feels giddy. Like when the Mercury person talks to them and communicates with them, they get all excited and joyful and they feel that buoyant, expansive energy of their Jupiter, which is so important for joy and faith and good vibes. And, a big part of our spiritual calling, or even, what we end up being really successful at. So, the Jupiter person feels like Mercury is just touching them in all these beautiful ways, not physically. This is not an aspect of physical attraction, actually, you guys. I made it sound sexual. I'm just a Taurus physical person. It's sometimes things are going to come out sexually when they're not. This is not a sexual aspect. You'll have to wait for me to talk about sexual aspects. Again, today I'm doing Mercury. There's no sex. Um, Although in a sexual relationship, if you put, some of these good Mercury aspects in there, then you can communicate. And then you can understand each other and feel joy in the contact. And even if, things don't work out with this one, you usually feel pretty good vibes to each other. It's actually like an aspect of friendship first. So you really feel like you're friends first. It actually can create an instant feeling of friendship and camaraderie, and like we're learning, we're on the same level as far as beliefs, or if we're not on the same level, we have compatible ideas about life. We've maybe even had similar upbringings with similar even political ideologies or religious ideologies, if we were brought up in some kind of, religious experience, or a political family, or, just it's something to do with the attitudes about life that are harmonious, if not exactly the same, because this is the sextile or the trine. They're harmonious enough that we can get along and we could communicate, and we're not pushing each other's buttons. We're not like an alien with this aspect. It's not like we're talking to someone that's just totally like off left field or whatever, and it's like, what are they talking about? You have an understanding of where the other person is coming from, but you're still broadened in understanding by their presence. So it's actually a really good aspect to have in teacher-student relationships. It's often that I will have clients come in where we have an aspect like this with sometimes my Jupiter or sometimes vice versa. It's very common in relationships with people you want to learn from, right? And usually it's going to be the Jupiter person who's a little bit more in the teaching role, but it can switch because Jupiter is also very inspired by Mercury. They really respect the Mercury person's intelligence and the way that they communicate. And so there is mutual inspiration, but usually the Jupiter person is the person with like the broader understanding, or like, yeah, like I've said, they traveled more, and maybe they speak other languages, or there's something, more ninth house ish about them, right? Like, and you could say that you've met each other like traveling or something like that, but that would be more hard to say. That would probably be more shown by like the conjunction, if you want to, yeah, or ninth house overlays. But this one, it does have a sense of like at least traveling in the mind, if not the body. But it actually could be a very good aspect for traveling with someone where you want to explore similar things. You want to get out there and do things and learn things and take a course. And it's exciting. It's really exciting, and it's really nice, and it's one of those aspects that can smooth over if you've got harsh Saturn or Pluto stuff going on. With this one, you can really enjoy talking to each other, and you really feel like you get something valuable out of this relationship. And yeah, the Mercury person feels like they're mind is open, but also their confidence can be increased. It's like they're able to speak with more wisdom because of the Jupiter person. It's like the Jupiter person promotes like a confidence in their own ideas and their views about things. And then the Jupiter person, it's actually kind of similar where, by talking to the Mercury person, they get inspired and they feel their authority, or they feel like Mercury's like ears just like open, and their Mercury's like looking up at them like, yes, tell me the truth. And then they feel like, oh, I've got some wisdom to share and I'm going to share it. And that can actually help them in their life as well. So this could be an aspect of wealth increase. There's the potential for that because of the confidence boost, the positive thinking that you're going to get with this aspect. It's a can do energy. Now, it's not as powerful as the conjunction or even maybe the hard aspects, but it's more compatible for day to day, like long term, not pushing each other's buttons. The conjunction is very good too. I should do the conjunction because it's definitely one of the best conjunctions I feel like that you could have. But I started with the Trine Sextile because someone requested the Trine. So and yeah, I've had a lot of experience with both. The Sextile is a little bit more active, where actually you are a little bit different about certain things, and there's a lot of like giddiness and laughing and like joking around. Actually, same with the Trine. But in my experience, I guess I've had the Sextile when it's fire air. My Mercury's Gemini, so it's always been a fiery Jupiter, so that could explain a little bit more of the buzz. But yeah, sextiles in general are a bit more active because we're a bit more different when we're combining, elements like fire and air or earth and water, right? Now, when I've had the Trine, thinking of my Mercury in Gemini, it's always been to another air sign. So it's usually just a really good communication with the Trine. Like, it's a very underrated, easy to communicate aspect where you feel heard. It's a very natural communication, right? And I mean, with air signs, it is going to be more intellectual, more ideas and things like that. And water, it'll be more like emotional communication, and earth, more practical, right? So you want to look at the elements that the Trine or the Sextile is taking place in. That's the energy flow that is open between you both, and that's really what you could call this, is like an open energy flow, energy exchange. The nice thing about Jupiter Mercury is that it's probably one of the most light-hearted synastry aspects that you could have, where there's no heavy energy. And you could have heavy energy shown by other aspects, right? So I'm not saying this entire relationship is just so lighthearted, but isolating this one aspect, it's very light and it's very free and it's very expansive and enlightening. And yeah, you really get the opportunity for the best of Mercury to come out and the best of Jupiter to come out. So if you see this one in your synastry, I would consider yourself very lucky. You're going to like communicating. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of this aspect. Was it like this? Was it not like this? Let me know in the comments, you guys. And thanks for watching. Bye.